Right. Let's talk about this. Paranormal YouTube has a big problem. A big problem. Let me tell you. Now, what I'm going to say might piss some people off, but listen, it's in my head, so I'm going to say it anyway. When I sit back and I watch a lot of teams, I'm not seeing much investigating. But what I am seeing a lot of is performing. When I sit back and I watch, I see a lot of people who are performing for the camera, performing for the audience being the YouTube audience. Now you might say, well, listen, who the frig are you to say that? I'm glad you asked. Let me tell you who I am. I'm a professional wrestler of almost 27 years. And I perform every time I step foot in that ring. So I can spot a performance a mile away. And I see it when I watch certain teams on YouTube. They don't care about the investigation. Frig that. No, they care about the performance. Because they know YouTube rewards performance. They know YouTube will push out their footage, their content, if the algorithm sees a performance. Therefore, these teams, they perform. And listen, it's no different than when a wrestler performs. So I know what I'm talking about. I know what it's like to perform. I know what it's like to do stuff so you get a reaction. I know what it's like to say things to get interest, to get people's attention. And that's what these paranormal teams are doing. They're reacting, they're performing to get attention. Fuck the investigation. It's all about the performance. The performance is what matters. Because they know performance gets views, gets clicks, gets subscribers. And that's all they care about. By all means, correct me if I'm wrong. But I don't think I am. I see it all the time. Not just these American bro channels. I see it in England as well. But in England, it's not so much bro. It's more mate. Mate this and mate that, mate! Where these divs in America, they shout bro all the time. England shouts, mate! Look, mate! Here, mate! Performance. That's all it is. A performance. Because the algorithm rewards performance. And whether they like to hear it or not, they want to be the next Sam Colby. And please believe me, it would be good to be in their position. It would be marvellous to be in their position. Not knocking it. I'm knocking Sam Colby because they're the biggest performers. But to want to be big, there's nothing wrong with that. We all want to be successful. But if you're going to be like this, at least say that you're performing. Now, I know for a fact, everybody knows professional wrestling is a work. By a work, I mean it's rigged. It's a show. It's entertainment. But for the longest time, it was kept quiet. It was undercover, behind closed doors. It was, to use a wrestling term, it was kayfabed. Till they had to come clean and say, no, it's entertainment. It's predetermined. And I don't mind saying that. I don't mind saying that what I do is predetermined. Yes, it hurts. Yes, it's dangerous. Yes, there's risks. But at the end of the day, we go out of our way to entertain the paying public, to entertain the audience, to perform. Yes, we look after each other. We try our best to stop it from hurting. I try and look after my opponent, and my opponent tries to look after me. Because at the end of the day, it's a show, and I don't mind saying that. Now, if Sam Colby, if they came clean and said, listen, what we do is a show. We're not real paranormal investigators. It's entertainment. Then I wouldn't have a problem with Sam Colby. I wouldn't even have a problem with your man, Zach Bagans, if he come clean and said, listen, I'm performing. Listen, I'm not bothered. I wouldn't have a problem with that. But the fact that he puts it over, like, it's real, pisses me off no end. The fact that Sam Colby calls themselves paranormal investigators pisses me off, because they're not. They're entertainers. They're performers, just like me. Just like me when I step in that ring. I'm a performer. I'm Iceman. Outside of the ring, when I'm home, I'm dad. I'm granddad. I'm a husband. I'm Isaac. But the second I step in that ring, I become Iceman. That's when I perform. These people need to come clean. They need to break kayfabe, to use a wrestling term again. They need to say, listen, we're not real paranormal investigators. We're performing. And I wouldn't have a problem with that. I'd still watch. Do you think when the wrestling world came clean about wrestling, people stopped watching? No, definitely not. And the same applies to the paranormal. If these paranormal YouTubers come clean and admit, well, listen, it's all staged, it's a work, we're just entertaining, we're just performing, then nobody would bat an eyelid. I'd still watch. But the fact that they go out there and they say that this is real and they call this investigating, it pisses me off no end. Let me tell you this. Last week, I was at a place called the Grand Hotel in Scarborough. It's a seaside town in England. And this Grand Hotel, wow. In its heyday, it must have been a sight to see. But anyway, I'm going off my story. It's supposed to be haunted. Now, I went there and I purposely stayed in the most haunted room, room 28, where a reverend was supposed to have topped himself, and he appears at the foot of people's beds and he appears behind them when they look in the mirror. Now, I went there to investigate. And what happened? I'll tell you what happened. Fuck all happened. That's what happened. Fuck all. But I didn't automatically panic and think, oh my God, this isn't going to do well on YouTube. This is not going to get views. This is not going to get likes. It's not going to get shared. People aren't going to comment on this, on a video where fuck all happens. I didn't automatically start and perform so that the algorithm would push my video. No. I investigated. I sat in the darkness. I called out. I listened. I investigated. And fuck all happened. Nothing happened. A couple of knocks, a couple of squeaks, the building cooling down on a night time. The usual stuff from all buildings. But nothing. But I didn't resort to performing. Because I consider myself a real investigator. That's why I don't use these gimmicks and these lights and these REM pods and these spirit talker apps and all these commotion, all this goings on. I don't use it. I sit, I take notice, I record things, I write things down, and to the best of my ability, I investigate. Because I want to know if this is all real. I want to know if it's true. But what I see on YouTube, I don't think they care whether it's true or not. Maybe I'm wrong. And again, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think they care. I think they just want to do well on YouTube. Listen, we all want to do well on YouTube. But the investigation comes first. Now, if I've pissed you off, listen, I make no apologies. If you're upset with what I say, I make no apologies. I've got to speak my mind. Whether I'm getting kicked to death, I've got to speak my mind. And it was on my mind, so I said it. Listen, if you want to be like these divs in America with the bro channels, like Sam and Colby, by all means do it. But call it as it is. It's not real. It's a work, to use another wrestling term. It's a work. It's a performance. Don't put it over there like it's a real paranormal investigation. Take care. Have a good one.